In this video, I'm going to show you how you can take a pre-made standing talk motion in Cartoon Animator and turn it into a sitting talk motion. Let's get straight into it. So here we are in Cartoon Animator 5, and I've got this little project set up that I've put together. It has two actors and I've animated them both with a standing motion talking to each other. So I'll just quickly play it so you can see what it looks like. So obviously the voices are just gibberish, just for demonstration purposes, so we know when one's talking, and I haven't really done much with the lip sync. Just for the purposes of this demonstration, let's say we wanted the girl to stand and talk and we wanted the guy to sit down when he responds, but we don't have a sitting talk motion with these particular arm movements that he's using. We really like those arm movements, but we want to have him sitting. I'm going to show you how to customize that motion. We'll go straight into the timeline, select our male actor, and I've got this little icon here set up. That means that whatever is selected on the stage is the only thing that'll show on the timeline in the window down here. This animation I've got set up to 300 frames, and this is our guy's talk motion here. And prior to that, you'll notice he's not doing anything. I'm going to turn the voices off so that we don't have to listen to them while I'm doing this. You'll notice he doesn't actually do anything while she's talking. She stops moving when he's talking. So I didn't want to complicate it, I've just got these two motions. So the first thing we want to do when adjusting this motion is to right click on the motion in the timeline. You see I've got the motion button on here, so if it wasn't on you'd click that and turn it on. We don't need the FFD button clicked. This motion originally did have an FFD exaggerated motion to it, but I deleted that out so that it wasn't such an exaggerated movement. So we could actually get rid of that and just have the motion on. And now we just right click on here and we want to remove motion, some of the motion from various body parts. So we do remove motion, and you'll see we get this list here of motions that we can remove from separate body parts. We want to take everything out to do with the feet and the legs. Select all of those and do remove, and you'll see now when he plays all his leg movement is gone, but his hips are moving around. We don't want his hips to move around because he's going to be stationary on the seat. So if you're having this problem of the character moving all over the place, good idea to also remove the hip movement. Go back into remove motion. See we've got these hip ones here. Hip Z-axis is if hip moves forward and backwards on the Z-axis. I don't know if it does or not, but I'm going to select anyway. Flip, he's not actually flipped at any point in this animation, but I'll select it anyway. And then just the hip in general, we'll remove that. Go remove, and now you see when he talks all his leg movement is gone. Now the next thing we want to do is go back to the start of the clip here and open up the 2D motion key editor, and we're just going to position him on the seat. We're just going to lock his feet in place, and we're also going to set the key options to the selected body part. That way we don't make keys for everything on his whole body. When we move the hip, it's just the hip that's getting a keyframe move, and I lock the feet just to try and hold them into position. So we just bring the cursor over our hip bone without bringing it over any of these handles, just inside the bone. And now we can just sit him down. Oh, he looks like he's kind of seated on the chair. And you'll notice he's sort of leaning back a bit. I want him to lean forward. I'm going to select the upper torso, and we're just going to lean him forward a little bit. And I might even turn his lower torso forward a bit. So now if we hit play, you see he's all nicely sitting down, talking, and everything looks good. However, at this point, if I go back to the start of the animation, you'll notice he's in his old standing position and his legs are all over the place. If we play from here, see he's drifting down into position, and then he starts talking. We don't want that, so to fix that, go back to this clip here, or his motion clip, right click on it, and we want to do flatten motion clip. We're just going to do flatten all. We could do flatten transform, which is pretty much all that we adjusted. But if we do flatten all, we make sure we get everything. And what this is doing is this will take the keyframes out of the timeline. So you'll see down here we've got all these keyframes that I added in for the torso, the hip here, and the sprites. And what these are affecting keyframes up here, so it's doing a transition from this frame to this frame. So by flattening this, you'll notice what happens. Go in here and flatten motion clip, go flatten all. You'll see now that all of these keyframes that we put in, particularly for the transform ones here, have all gone. And you'll notice when I move this, quickly snaps back to his standing position that he had at the start. But we also don't want him to be standing and then be seated. We want him to be sitting right from the start. So in order to fix that, all we have to do is open up the collect clip track. And we're going to collect clip on the first frame of this, and then right click on the collect clip track. And we're going to hit export. And I'm going to save that up here. See, I've already done this before, so I'm just going to save over the top of this one. Go save. Go yes. And now I'm going to go back to the start. And over here we're going to right click on the motion here. And we're going to go import. I'm going to go back to that same motion that I just saved. Go open. You'll see now he's sitting there, and when I play the animation, he's sitting in his seat the whole time, and he starts talking. And if we wanted to, we could adjust his arms just a little bit, just so they look a bit more natural at the start of the animation, just by opening up the 2D motion key editor here, and maybe grabbing his hand here and just moving it out a bit. And maybe grabbing this arm here and moving it down a bit. And you'll notice that works fine. If you want to sort of smooth out when he starts talking, you can go up into the talk motion and grab this little blend bar here, bring it out a bit. Hopefully his arms will be a bit smoother when they come out. There you go, I'll play the full animation with the audio. Turn the audio back on, hit the play button. There you go, that's how you can turn a pre-made standing talking motion into a sitting and talking motion. So I hope you found this quick demonstration useful. I know it's something that I do quite a lot of. I tend to have a lot of talking characters in my animations, and quite often I need a character to be seated when they're talking, and I just don't have the seated version of the talking motion that I want. So with this method you should be able to easily turn almost any talking motion into a seated talking motion. So hope you found that useful, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.